In this way, Dino found a new meaning in life. After becoming a demon lord, his daily life continued as usual. The change came at Walpurgis, where Rimuru became a demon lord. Clayman, who was a small man who did not deserve to be called a demon lord, hit Milim. It was such a shock that he thought he was going to wake up in an instant, though he was always in a lazy mood. He wondered what he was going to do if Milim lost control, and then he realized that Milim herself seemed to be acting. He tried to find out the reason for this, and found that the newcomer, Rimuru, was the cause of the problem. Realizing this, Dino became interested in Rimuru, who had become a demon lord. And by touching the essence of Rimuru, was it coincidence, or was it destiny, Dino found a new meaning of life. I'm awesome. I succeeded in removing the domination circuit. Dino was so proud of himself, but then he looked around him and was absolutely mortified. Shuna was much more impressive. Imitation. What Shuna did was to imitate Dino. Therefore, it would be normal to think that Dino was the more amazing one, not Shuna who was just imitating Dino. However, this was not the case. Shuna, however, did not, because she analyzed and assessed what Dino was doing, and then she extracted the key points perfectly and imitated them in an instant. She was also able to decipher multiple authority figures at the same time, which varied widely from person to person. The degree of difficulty itself was quite different from that of Dino, who only played with his own authority. It is hard to believe that one can perfectly understand another person's title in a moment. And yet, the fact that Shuna was able to do it so easily was a testament to her greatness. No way. Dino muttered to himself as he watched Pico, Gracia, and Mai rewrite their powers. Pico's ultimate skill Rigor King Jibril is changed to Strictness King Jibril with more freedom. Gracia's ultimate skill Glory King Hamiel becomes Splendor King Hamiel, which is not involved by others. Mai Furuki's ultimate enchantment World Map had evolved into the ultimate skill Star Realm King Terra Mater, which reflects Mai's desire more, which is the ultimate evolution of the ultimate skill Terra Mater. It is hard to believe that Shuna alone could have achieved this. He thought it was possible for her to do such a thing. I knew it, Rimuru saw through it all. Dino's mind was filled with images of Rimuru with impudence. He is convinced that there is no one but Rimuru who can do such an impossible thing without any hesitation. It seemed that Rimuru had exercised his authority through the eyes of his subordinates, even though he was not present. Shuna did not deny this. Well, yes. It is not only my power, as Dino-sama seems to think. Shuna is sure it is not Rimuru. But it is definitely Rimuru's power, he says. The reason why Shuna succeeded in imitation at this time is because someone else was involved. In fact, it was impossible for Shuna to reproduce it by her own will. It is probably because the information was delivered across space-time at the right time that even Shuna was able to accomplish this. It was, no. Shuna has given up the idea of pursuing it. For now, she should just be happy that Dino and the others were free of Feldway's control. Just as Shuna was thinking this, things suddenly changed. The labyrinth rumbled. It was a phenomenon that should not have happened in the labyrinth. Everyone knew that something unusual had occurred. It was the very moment that Zegion was about to finish Vega off. What is this? Shuna is astonished. The feeling was the same as when the labyrinth's hierarchy was broken. There were only a few people who could do such a thing, even among the leaders of the monster nation. Moreover, the tremor was greater than anything she had ever felt before, more so now than when Velgrin had been ravaging the labyrinth. Were you kidding me? Is Vega really trying to eat Tremors' labyrinth? No way. But these tremors. I don't think Vega's capable of this. If he could, he would have done it from the beginning. Dino and the others agreed with him. Then, what happened? Dino and his team members looked at each other in bewilderment at the occurrence of an unexpected and unusual situation. Speaking of unpredictability, the same is true for the Rammers. In fact, it was Rammers, the creator of this labyrinth, who was the most astonished by this situation. No way. I was just about to do the isolation, or rather, I don't care about that. Something worse has happened. The hierarchy of Vega's isolation was smashed. That was a surprise, too. But what astonished Tremors even more was the fact that an enemy with an unbelievable existence value had invaded the labyrinth. The existence value of the hostile entity has been measured. The hostile entity is determined to be Insect Lord Zelanus, and its existence value is 114 million. The operator is absolutely mortified. The existence value of 114 million is the existence value of a creature of the Genesis level. Nullum and Gi were no match. Of course, Benimaru was no match for them. Tough, isn't it? I mean, you can honestly say impossible if you want. Rammers teased, but there was no energy in her voice. Fortunately, they knew immediately that they were coming. If someone as powerful as Zelanus had taken them by surprise, they would have been helplessly beaten. The fact that Zegion was defeated in an instant was proof enough. While everyone was in despair, there was one who laughed. It was Diablo. It's funny that you beat Zegion. Shall I deal with him? Diablo confidently declares. Impossible. Benimaru immediately retorts, it's impossible. Even you are too vain. Ramos followed suit. If Beretta had been here, she would have been in favor of stopping the Black King from the very beginning, saying, it's very, very difficult. But she was not here, so there were more naysayers. We wouldn't know until we try. So Diablo responded with a bit of a miffed look on his face. Before the atmosphere turned sour, Trini said. Well. Actually, all of them, including Benimaru Dono, are not in good physical condition. Diablo Dono is the only one who can handle them, so I guess we have to leave it to him, don't we? Trini was right. No one could argue with her. Gabble was seriously injured, and Ranga was out of mana as a substitute for Geld. Gopta and Rigurd are out of action. Zegion and Apido, plus Kumara and Geld, are on their way. Only Diablo remains. Cherries, the guard of Ramos, the Trini sisters, and the 4 great dragon kings, are counted as part of the force. However, they were the last resort, and in the first place, there was no one who could deal with Zelanus. Normally, they would have expected Zegion to be able to do it, but since there were no objections from the others, it was agreed that Diablo would be the one to deal with Zelanus. The inside of the labyrinth shook again. The source of the tremor was approaching toward the level where Dino and the others were. Hey, I have a bad feeling about this. That's funny, Pico. I have a bad feeling about this too. Pico and Gracia talk uneasily, but it seems that it will come true soon. The ceiling of the labyrinth cracks. The labyrinth's layers have been broken by an unimaginable force. Inside the labyrinth, each level has a different dimensional layer. Normally, it would be impossible to break through the labyrinth, but this was not the case with the unimaginable power of the labyrinth. In fact, there are several people in the land of monsters who can break through the layers of the labyrinth with unlimited power. However, the phenomenon occurring before their eyes was different. To Dino's eyes, it looked as if a simple force alone was tearing through the dimension. Isn't this bad? It's not good. I mean, can they do something like that in real life? Ramos's labyrinth is easy to escape from but difficult to enter. Magic perception becomes difficult once you are several floors away from the labyrinth, so it is impossible to teleport to a specific person. However, the presence, which emits a ferocious presence with no intention of hiding, was heading straight for the place where Dino and the others were. A person who knows the inner workings of the labyrinth would be able to predict who and where they might be, but at present, Dino has no idea of anyone who might meet such a condition. In the first place, since it is rare for someone to break through the labyrinthine hierarchy, the identity of the intruder would be limited as well. Who is it? Dagril is probably at war with Luminous, Feldweyer, Zelanus, or who else? Dino tried to find out who it was, but there seemed to be no time for that. It was faster to ask than to think, Dino thought. He was completely caught because it was a fact he did not want to admit. Hey Rammers. Dino shouted a question and received a panicked response from Rammers. I'm busy here, so I'll see you later. Wait, who's attacking? A strange creature has come down from the crack in the ceiling. Zelanus. It was a powerful figure that he recognized at a glance. Worst of all was the presence of the person whom Zelanus was holding with his left hand. It is, of course, the strongest warrior in the labyrinth. No way. Zegion has been defeated. Zegion, who could not even imagine his defeat, has been dragged away by unconsciousness. At this point, there were 2 types of players. Those who were calm and those who were upset. The calm ones were Shuna, Geld, and Beretta. The upset one was Apido. She jumped to Zelanus shouting, Zegion, and tried to jump on Zelanus, but was stopped by Geld. Kumara and the others were in a state of shock at the unbelievable scene. Knowing how strong Zegion was, they could not accept the reality of the situation. This is no time to be fooling around. At this point, Shuna instructed the team to retreat. She is wearing the resurrection bracelet just in case, but she still needs to be careful not to be caught and taken hostage. Beretta checks the exit route and moves to secure the safety of everyone. Dino and the others were going to escape to the control room for the time being. They would rescue Zegion only after they found out the strength of the enemy. They understand that if they rush into the room with no plan at this point, they will only be beaten back. And so, they all tried to move as one. Let's go. Zelanus moves at a speed that no one can see. Zelanus is targeting only one person. He landed here, targeting only Apido, who had been held by Geld. No. Geld stepped forward to protect Apido, but to no avail. Apido was beaten up carelessly by the slender hand of Zelanus, his secondary arm. Geld, who was unrivaled in defending himself, was knocked unconscious by a single blow from Zelanus, who did not seem to be serious at all. This is also hard to believe, but the reality of Zegion's defeat is enough to make everyone's surprise small. The priority now was to get away from this place as much as possible. We've changed the resurrection point, so you don't have to worry. Ramos's voice echoed. As if to prove her words, the resurrection bracelet was shining on everyone's arms before they knew it. In the midst of the chaos, they seemed to have taken all possible measures. Dino thought. We were enemies just a moment ago, but is it safe to trust us so easily? It would be difficult to gain their trust if they just ran away together. Even though they could not resist Feldway, they would think it was a bad idea if they returned to the others. Or, Dino would think so. Then, he should have shown his manly spirit at least once. Pico, Gracia, will you go out with me? Of course. I knew you'd say that. As they had known each other since ancient times, it seemed that they knew what Dino was thinking. Pico and Gracia drew their weapons to stand alongside Dino, who had stopped. I'm here, too, said Mai, standing behind them. Zelanus takes one look at Dino and the others. Ha, you were Feldway's men. Did you betray him? It was Feldway's men who betrayed us. That's right. He took control of us and everything. He was a real stupid. That's right. If you're going to fight with us, Zelanus, you'd better be ready. It was a big show, but the three of them had no choice but to be strong here. Frankly, they don't think they can win. They had only faint hopes that they might pull out of the fight. Of course, such a bluff would not work for Zelanus. Nonsense. If you send her to me, I'll let you go. The woman, that's a pedo. Dino guesses that they need her because she is one of their own. Come to think of it, Zegion is still alive. Not because he couldn't kill him, but because he was going to bring her back. Zelanus knows this. He knows that killing him in the labyrinth will only bring him back to life. On the contrary, we can kill them outside the labyrinth. He may be planning to add Zegion and Pedo to his group, but it was obvious that the situation would be troublesome in either case. Kill them or join them, it doesn't matter which. If they take us out of the labyrinth, we've lost. Dino thought so. And he was right. As far as Zelanus was concerned, it didn't matter. Zegion and Pedo are part of Zelanus' Sephirot, the King of Life. He can gain their power by killing them, or wait for them to grow up to become his subordinates. However, Zelanus' power does not extend to them if they are in the labyrinth, so it is necessary to take them out to the outside world. If anyone interfered with that, he would simply remove them. Zelanus has that power. So, no matter who you are. I will let you, King of the Insects. Someone got in the way.